I say every day. It's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 74th episode of Screaming Into the Void, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me today is the Dirty Rex Fucker himself, Ryan.
That's right, I am the Dirty Rex Fucker. And welcome to everybody. So it's going to be an interesting discussion today. Maybe not as humorous, but sometimes that's the way it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be a little heavier today, at least for the start. But before we get into that, Kenzo UK says it's not a cult. Yes, it is, brother. Yes, it is. He's talking about the whole Swiftie thing.
It is a fucking cult.
Yeah.
No, and if you're a Swiftie and you're a man, you might be sitting down.
Yeah, well, also you should know, Kenzo, that as a man, you're going to be first up on the block when they decide to get around to human sacrifice, which they inevitably will. They're going to cut your balls off, man. Speaking of which, he did this when they were doing Beelzebub last night. I didn't catch all of it. I only caught the beginning of it. I had some other stuff to do, and then I went to bed. But there was a bit where there's Kenzo on screen rocking out. And if you don't mind, man, I might clip that out and add that to my intro for the dance party section, because I think it's awesome. That's Zillage. Yes, you did. We were running a little bit behind, waiting for some stuff to work itself out, and here we are. So welcome. Glad that you can make it. You guys might have.
Was he dancing to Taylor Swift music?
No, it was somebody did one of those AI lyric videos for whatever. Anyway, somebody did one about Beelzebub, and it was done, in a style of a rock song with double bass kick drums and shit.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of you might have seen the pinned chat on my channel. I don't think it showed up on Ryan's. The article we're going to be discussing today and the situation surrounding that article, or that the article is about, rather. It's got pictures of an infant, and YouTube gets weird about that, so I will not be bringing it up on screen, unfortunately. However, I have provided a link to the article for anybody who wants to read it, although, fair warning, it's not lighthearted stuff, in a description below. So we will... well, fuck. I mean, might as well just get into it, man.
Yeah, it's not our it's fucking Squatch. Yeah, I'll be on his channel about 2 hours, so for an
interview. Nice. Should be fun.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like
all right, so some of you may have heard about this. I don't know. I think a lot of this was relatively suppressed in Western media, particularly in the United States, because it's awful. There's a young child by the name of Indy Gregory. I don't recall exactly how old. I don't have that information, but towards the later stages of infancy, not quite a toddler yet, so maybe about a year or so old. And don't quote me on that. I may be completely off base. Doesn't look very old. Who was on life support, had problems with her lungs working right. So basically machines were breathing for her.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were some other issues as well.
She was an infant.
Yeah, her name was Indy Gregory, and I say was because 5 days ago, as ordered by British authorities, the team that was supposed to be keeping this child alive and working to save her life unplugged her life support against the wishes of her parents. It was court ordered.
Yes.
And she passed away 5 days ago at
8 months old.
1:45 in the morning on Monday, November 13th.
Hi,
The
Nomi.
problem,
Where are you?
yeah, hey,
Just
Nomi.
I'm just giving her a hard time. I know where she is.
So, well, Zillage, essentially, it's because they didn't see the point in wasting resources on somebody who probably wasn't going to live anyway. Is generally reasoning about that. The problem here is that the Italian government reached out and said, "We will take her. We will care for her. We will support her life. Send her to us. We'll even pay for transport. Send her to us so that we can save this kid."
What the fuck, man?
They were blatantly ignored.
What the dick?
There was a chance to save this kid's life. There was an entirely separate government who was willing to foot the entire bill to give this kid a chance. And the court still ruled to pull the plug.
I don't even know what you really say to that.
Yeah. It's one of those things you kind of got to sit with for a minute to really.
I guess I'm gonna be the first one to say to fuck the UK government. Fuck y'all very much. There's a special place in hell where you're all going to burn.
Indeed.
Right? Because
Indeed.
that's holy shit. I didn't know that that the Italian government said that they would take care of it.
Yeah.
That's just psycho.
It is. Now, there's a couple of things to consider here regarding the Italians and their attempted involvement in the situation. We know that the Italian Prime Minister, Georgia, I cannot remember her last name, is very anti-globalist. Like vehemently and vocally so.
Mm-hmm.
But we also know that the NHS, the National Healthcare System, and the British government is very pro that sort of thing. This is eugenics. This is deciding
Yes.
who lives or who dies for the quote unquote greater good. This is the many come before the one. And as much as I love Star Trek, I mean, we do a show about Star Trek, and there's a quote that comes up in the movies later, where Spock says, "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one," and I think that is incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can't. It
No.
can't, because without the individual, there is no many. So I mean, we have to be taking care of each other. We don't cast each other aside. It's the only way society survives. But here we are witnessing firsthand, and I don't mean to get on the anti-globalist thing about that and make this kid's death about that, because while I think that it's involved, the fact is that these motherfuckers murdered a child. This is state-sponsored, state-sanctioned murder. It's what it is. It's murder. And YouTube, if you have a problem with my saying that, you can kiss my ass. They killed a kid.
If they have a problem with it, they're just going to nuke your channel. They won't tell you.
And then in that case, so be it.
Yeah, they're not gonna give you fair warning. Like, oh, you misbehaved. They're gonna.
No. So, and you know what? Then they can still kiss my ass. My ass will still be there for them to kiss. It's not going anywhere. It's quite nice.
Well, I mean, YouTube is up with the globalism, so I mean,
yeah. Hail Jack Tar Lad. Zillage, I may have missed it in my reading. I don't believe that one was given. I think they just ignored it. You know, but I may have to do some extra reading on this. But yeah, let's see. The ruling was made despite Indy being granted Italian citizenship. Yeah, they gave her Italian citizenship so that she could come without worrying about deportation or any of that shit. And yesterday, her Italian guardian making an urgent application to UK High Court calling on Mr. Justice Robert Peel to cede jurisdiction of the case to him under Article 9 and 2 of the 1996 Hague Convention. And so Andrea Williams is the chief executive of the Christian Legal Center, who was also obviously fighting for this kid's life. Calls out to Rishi Sunak, who is the current British Prime Minister, and by all accounts, a complete piece of shit.
So the only thing that I see that was the reason that she wasn't shipped to Italy is doctors argued that Indy had no awareness of her surrounding and was suffering and should be allowed to die peacefully. Repeated legal attempts backed by Christian Concern, I guess that's an organization, were rejected by the British judges.
Yeah. So this is the argument that I hear often in terms of justifying this sort of thing, made in Canada, for example. Well, it's better that they not suffer.
Also, Italian. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
As you should say, Italian Premier Giorgio Meloni paid her respects in a social media post, wishing the baby Godspeed. Quote, "We did everything we could, everything possible," Meloni wrote. "Unfortunately, it wasn't enough." No, they literally tried to do everything. Everything that you literally just said has been confirmed about the citizenship and everything. Like, they wouldn't even let the child die at home. Apparently, the father criticized in his own statement, saying that the child was forced to be kept in the hospital.
Yeah. The whole thing makes me sick, man. You hear these people and they're like, oh, well, it's better not to suffer. It's better not to do this and do that. And this is the same lefty. You may have picked up by now that I'm pretty vehemently on the side of pro-life.
Mm-hmm.
The excuse that I hear over and over again that what will their quality of life be, or will they live in poverty, or is it financially feasible, or will they suffer, or are they going to be healthy? And it's like, that's not up to you to decide, motherfuckers. It's someone else's life. And as human beings, if we are to be considered compassionate and empathetic, then we need to be doing everything we can to stand in the way of those who will take life for arbitrary bullshit reasons. Like, oh, you might be a drain on society. Have you considered MAID? I'm feeling a little bit down. Why don't you let us help you die?
Oh, it's also that population control bullshit, right?
It is. It's that's absolutely what it is population control, couched in terms of compassionate care. None of this is right. And I know this is a heavy topic, guys. I do apologize for the tone of the show today, but I think it's necessary that we speak about this, and we speak about it where people can hear us, because otherwise, Indy Gregory and those like her, and there will be more. I guarantee there will be more. We'll be forgotten. We'll be swept under the rug. They'll be lucky if they're a footnote.
Well, I mean, and obviously this is kind of in a way, kind of an offshoot of eugenics, right? So there's a human being that has a problem. Well, let us help you fix that problem. And it's just giving, obviously in this case, the child can't willingly consent. And the parents didn't consent to this either. That's what I don't understand. How are the legal rights of the parents not followed? But the thing is that it's basically so this child had basically a birth defect, some type of brain damage, if I remember reading correctly. um that they're like, well, she has a low chance of surviving, right? So we might as well just let her die. Like, well, what? Like, and the parents were pushing to try to hold off, so that they're, for an experimental procedure, and the UK government said no. Like, that, I don't understand either. Like, how the fuck does the UK government get to say no on this? Like,
Yeah.
her parents were completely in their right mind to say no, we want, but because the doctor said, "Nah, dude, bro, it's not worth it." Like, whatever.
I'm actually curious about something. Jack Tarlad, if you're still in the chat, you being a Brit and all, and probably a little bit better informed about this than I am, would you mind coming up onto the panel and talking with us about it? Let me know, and I'll throw you a link.
Yeah, I mean, because he said, not one of our finest moments. I mean, he'd probably know a
Mhm.
lot more about it than we do, because obviously the media is, you know, barely covered this. You can Google the infant's name, and there's a few articles written, but it's not really that prominent. And that's disgusting too.
Yeah. Well, and that's also, I guess, depending on how much you can talk about it, Jack. I know that you guys are under a lot of ever increasingly severe restrictions about what you can and cannot say too over there. So, um, but yeah, if you're willing, I'll absolutely throw you the link.
There's a
But
there's a GoFundMe to help bury the child.
yep, yep. No worries, brother. Another time. But yeah, it's. Do you have a link for that GoFundMe?
I do. Before I let me hop it,
If you
tag it in
put
there.
it, yeah, if you put it in the chat, I'll pin it to the top.
But once I share that, I will read what the father's statement was. Not scream into the void. Come on. Yes, yes, I know. All right. So now, okay, here we go. Yeah. So it literally says this is obviously her father, Dean Gregory, organized this. Um, Forced to die. This funding is to help towards giving Indy the best funeral. Indy sadly passed away at 1:45 a.m. after being forced to a hospice to remove life support treatments. Hi, our names are Dean Gregory and Claire Stanisforth, and we are fundraiser for our 6-month-old daughter, Indy, who was who had a mutation of mitochondrial disease, hydroxy. Jesus, I can't read. Hydroxyglutaric acidure. Damn. That's a hell.
Basically, it means your mitochondria weren't working right, which
Yeah.
your mitochondria are what provide juice to your cells. They're basically the batteries of the cells, and if they're not operating at peak
hmm
efficiency, there are going to be problems everywhere.
When she caught sepsis, E. coli, she was really went downhill, having to be intubated and having cardiac arrest 3 times, requiring CPR, which we had to fight for, as we constantly being pushed for no, I do not resuscitate many times before this event. But Indy survived it, and she didn't only survive; she started to pick up after starting her ketogenic diet. She was doing so well that she finally moved on to the ward after 5 months of being in intensive care. But 2 days of being on the ward, she deteriorated, which ended up with her going back up to the PICU. But after the what is it? After the investigation, it turned out she caught another infection from the ward called a enterovirus. Indy has made so many. Geez, the kid kept like getting sick and then fighting it off.
The kid was a fighter. The kid wanted to live. You know, I hope wherever you are, Indy, that things are better and you don't have people trying to fucking, put one over on you in the name of, government overreach. Hey, Clue.
What's going on, Sam, Ryan?
What up, man?
Yeah, Wookie.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. We got Wookie. I see Clifton, and I saw. Yep, there is Admiral Teague in the chat. How you guys doing? It's a heavy subject today. So, have you been listening?
I got the first part where it was I didn't know it was government sanctioned.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard
court orders.
Sam's part about how's that your decision to do that, which I agree with wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
About the quality of life and all that.
Well, I don't understand how they could override the parents. That's what blows my mind. That's what I don't get. I mean, because parental rights are a legal, an actual legal precedent. I don't understand that. But they're doing it. They're doing it in California too.
In the United States.
Oh yeah, big time in California.
Precedent. We're talking about the UK, where they can take rights from you at any time. It's a constitutional monarchy. It's not a republic.
Well, they don't have parental rights over there either. Well, they don't. I mean,
I think that the rights they have are closer to privileges, which can be revoked.
Fuck that.
I thought they were better than us.
Well, they certainly like to tell us that, don't they?
Trust me, they're people.
No offense to my Brits.
British.
Pretty well. That's the thing, is that even if that wasn't the thing before, even if parental rights did take precedent before this case, right? This sets a precedent that yes, down the line, they can take your kids from you and shuffle them off this mortal coil. And beyond the obvious issues with the fact that they'd be killing kids, which I don't know if I've been clear enough about this, shouting it from the rooftops and all, but I'm going to say it one more fucking time. If you harm a child in any way, that makes you my enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And it should make you the enemy of all people. Because you're not just fucking with one life, although you are. You shouldn't be doing that either. But you're screwing with their future. You're screwing with generations that come after them, which is a threat to our entire species.
Well, if they can do it to one, they can keep doing it.
That's my point, is that they're going to get to a point now where they'll start making more and more questionable, but I guess increasingly justifiable decisions like this, because it does get easier as you continue to do something awful like this. They're going to do it again and again and again, and it'll get to a point eventually where, if you aren't towing the party line, as it were, if you aren't lockstep with the government, if you say the wrong thing, you step out of line somewhere, not only will they take your shit, they'll take your ability to make money, they'll take your ability to feed yourself, feed your family, but they might just take your kids and kill them too, as a punishment, as a retribution. And that's where I see this heading if we allow it to continue.
Over there, they don't have, A2 or 2A to defend themselves if that should happen.
No. Sporking News podcast, yes. Absolutely. Your local in particular, because everybody who moves up to state and everybody who moves up to federal, all of them started local. If you want to head this shit off with the past, you want to head off bad decisions, bad politicians, bad people from taking power, you got to do it at the local level. You got to get involved. Show up to city council meetings, make yourself fucking heard. Get on boards, get on panels. Vote local. If nothing else, vote local. Because everything that happens that you see in like Washington, D.C., all of the cesspit that place is, that is just a macrocosm of what's happening locally.
Mm-hmm.
So get involved.
Mostly through New York City and L.A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shadow. Wars have been started for people stealing a pie off of grandma's windowsill, man. That doesn't mean anything. People start wars over nothing. But this is one of the reasons that people are out. Yeah, like Zilla just saying about keeping people from owning firearms in Western countries. It's so you can't fight back. So that you can't take them down as they come to take away everything that matters. And honestly, I hear this from the left all the time. If they come for you, odds are you're not going to win that fight. And that there's some truth to that. There are more of them. They're better armed, probably better trained than I am. But that doesn't mean that you don't fight.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you don't take up arms in defense of you and yours, especially your children.
Apparently, the UK government, and this is from their actual website, says parental rights and responsibilities, and then it goes on to explain, and then it just says what is parental responsibility. Basically, you have the parental responsibility. Provide a home for the child, protect and maintain the child. You're also responsible for disciplining the child, choosing and providing for the child's education, agreeing to the child's medical treatment. Agreeing to the child. This is from the own UK website. I don't understand how they circumvented this.
I won't pretend to know exactly how the UK court system works, but from
Yeah,
what I'm gathering here is that a judge can say pretty much anything that's treated as law. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, in the chat. But yeah. And
well, they don't have the three branches over there.
Yeah.
No, they have parliament and they have the monarchy. And the monarchy is pretty much a figurehead anyway. So, Jack Tarlad, if you're not allowed to carry them in public, then what fucking good are they?
Well, you also have to basically it's kind of like you petition the government to to get a firearm. You don't just get one. You have to basically say, "Hey, can I have one?" I think it's similar to Canada. So,
well, Canada is in the process of revamping their shit. They are soon going to be collecting firearms from outliers who wouldn't turn them in this last year. So that'll be fun. Look out for that. Sporking News podcast. What's the court case? The case in particular that sparked this conversation and that we want to keep the focus on is the case of Indy Gregory, who was court ordered taken off life support early Monday morning and passed away shortly after.
By the UK government.
Yeah. And for those of you just coming in, there is a pinned comment at the top of the chat. That is the link to the GoFundMe for, I believe, funeral expenses. Correct, Ryan?
Yes. It was put on by the father. There's a bunch of photos of the child during all the treatments and stuff like that on life support and everything. And she was only, I guess, 6 months old from what the father said. So
damn, she had a head of hair.
Yeah, and they also these parents have two other children who are older, so it's not like obviously this is like it was just a one-off kind of thing. Unfortunately, it's just a genetic mutation that this child had, and the parents were trying to prolong her life long enough for I guess an experimental procedure, and the UK government, the judiciary was just no. And even the Italian government says, "Look, we'll take her off your hands." I believe one of her parents is an Italian citizen, so so they gave her full citizenship to come over there and they're like, "We'll pay for the whole entire treatment." Just and the UK government just said no.
That's sad.
We will not turn this child over to you, and it's like that's nuts.
Yeah. No, Kenzo said here in the chat, and I think he cited a couple of other cases earlier in the chat, that this isn't even the first in recent years. Said something about 18 months ago, I think. Where was that chat at? And here it is. Court ordered a young 10 or 11-year-old boy's life support too against mother's wishes about 18 months ago. So that's Jesus Christ. I know you all have an issue with revolutionaries over there, on a kind of a little tea party that we threw. But Britain, take your country back. Canada, take your country back. Australia, take your fucking country back. We're trying over here in the US and we are losing. We are trying.
We are losing because our fucking weirdos are listening to your weirdos. So maybe if you started beating the shit out of your fucking weirdos a little more and berating. Well, I mean, this is not aimed at anybody who we're friends with, right? Because obviously if they talk to us, they're all about the liberty and free speech. But the ones that are being fucking passive, take your shit back. It's your shit.
What is the government, the UK government, what was their reasoning behind this? Did they release a statement?
I don't think they gave. They said that the doctors advocated that she should be able to die in peace, which I don't understand how dying in peace doesn't make any fucking sense, because she's 6 months old and she can't consciously make that decision.
I'd say she did consciously make that decision when she kept fighting back. She got
Well, that's
better,
good. Yeah,
she got worse, and she got better because she was fighting to live. I think she did make that fucking decision, and they took it out of her hands.
That makes sense. Yep.
I don't know what the hell Bush is saying.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but good to see you, dude.
Get your shit. I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah, no, I guess. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They took her gerbs.
So Ken's also says our weirdos started cutting off kids' wee-wees right after you guys did. Our weirdos are aligned. I do think our weirdos are aligned on a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, King Chuck is Klaus Schwab's bitch, so there's that.
That's true.
And that's not to say that we're any better off. I mean, like half of our fucking government answers to that douchebag.
Yeah, but I mean, I say shit a lot. You watch a lot of my shows. I'm not sure why you're shocked here.
Hey, Carl, good to see you.
I swear like a sailor. I had to rein it in on the stream I was on earlier, because they're like, well, just try to keep the swearing to a minimum, which Neo's a great guy. But I think I said half a shit, and then I said fuck, and I'm like, God, sorry, damn it,
You remember when you did I think it was a Troy Pacelli show last year, and you kept saying God damn it. Mm-hmm. And Netter kept getting mad at you.
Yeah, the missus got me. Mrs. Netter, she got mad at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't. It's just, I swear like a sailor, and sometimes I mean, I can usually rein it in pretty good, but every once in a while there will be a slip, and you're like, oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm all about the freedom of speech, and so it's one of those things that yeah, I don't know. I'll let my speech fly. So yeah.
That's so
Oh,
bad.
God,
Kendra says, I'm
yeah.
looking
Sorry.
forward
Yeah. Sorry, dude. My bad. I saw it too. I was going to highlight it. Too many
to,
cooks in the
I'm
kitchen.
looking forward to putting up my multi-faith festive tree for the coming holiday period. Would that be menstrual?
Yeah.
You know, you guys need like a collective tampon over there? I'm sorry, that was mean.
Their government officials do. Jack says
Yeah.
Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, sorry if you guys can hear voices and whatnot. Thin walls.
Yeah. Is your boyfriend talking too loud?
Well, not mine. No, this would be in the next apartment over.
Oh, okay.
Such a whore, Sam.
Well, he said that he did say he got some strange today, and I was like, "What was his name?"
Again, her name I didn't catch. I probably caught something else though.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So, hey, Wolverine, good to see you, buddy.
What up, Wolverine? How you doing, man? It's good to see. It's good to see some names we haven't seen in a while. So, yeah.
Can I hear these voices right now? Yes, I can. If you guys can't, that's awesome. But I was just hoping it wasn't translating through my microphone since it was coming right through the wall.
And Kenzo, you're exactly right. He can hear the voices right now.
I hear all the voices.
Just him right now. Like,
so, but yeah, this is made. This is eugenics. This is
it is eugenics.
Hey, let's weed out the weak and promote the strong. This is the same shit that certain parties in the earlier part of the 20th century were all about famously. This is
people with funny mustaches.
This is fucking Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger's bullshit. It's evil is what it is.
Oh yeah, and Planned Parenthood, the founder, big fan of eugenics, by the way.
I just said that.
Just big fan. Well, you said Margaret Sanger. A lot of people don't realize this, that she's a big fan, and if it was actually taught in schools, I think liberal fucking teenagers, their jaw would drop. Like, wait, what? It's like, yes, big fan of eugenics of black people. She was.
Yeah, she would. Well, I had a quote of hers pulled up earlier because I was looking for something along those lines. I like to put a quote in my descriptions that's as appropriate to whatever the main topic is going to be as possible. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're quirky.
The dividing
sometimes
kingdom.
They're just.
I heard black people.
Yeah, I heard black people. Hey, Cal, good to see you. The quote I went with today was eugenic goals are most likely to be attained under another name than eugenics. Frederick Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not wrong. The only way this passes muster is if they call it something other than what it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't. Obviously, we don't. There are people that the Holocaust didn't exist. No, it did. And two, a lot of people don't realize that the United States actually, it was actually scientists over here, medical professionals over here, who invented the idea of eugenics, and it was just Mr. Mustache Man who took it, and he credited us in his lovely book. It's called Mein Kampf. And he credited the United States, the medical professionals that took this. So. No, so basically, it's one of those things that's like, we came up with this, and now it's still here because now the founder of Planned Parenthood, big fan of that eugenics and stuff. Obviously,
not real fond of dark people though.
No, not real fond of dark people. Weird. It's Mr. Mustache Man wasn't very fond of people who are different either. But Planned Parenthood is good. Yeah. So put your hands together for that. Fucking idiots. It's just
they do absurd. More than just deletion. I hear that a lot. Not just a
Yeah.
deletion building. We do a lot more. We do these things and these things over here. And
Well,
yeah.
we give out free birth control. It's like, okay, like we can't fund another government program that gives out free birth control other than the one that does eugenics on people. Like it's nonsensical. It really is. Like, and look, and I also love the argument too. Like, well, if there's an topic, I can't talk. I don't know why I can't talk today. Pregnancy, like the woman's life could be in danger, and she, we don't want her to die. It's like, no, of course we don't want her to die. She's going to get treatment in a medical facility called a hospital. Planned Parenthood's not a hospital. So no, she's not going to Planned Parenthood if her pregnancy is threatening her life. Like that's just not a fucking thing. It's not. There's also
For those
sorry, dude.
Go ahead.
You get me going, man.
Oh, I know. I'm the same way, man. That's part of why our dynamic works, because we stomp all over each other.
Yeah.
To give greater context, for those of you who don't know who Margaret Sanger is, although I assume that most of you are probably familiar with her, she was the founder of Planned Parenthood. She was also real buddy with certain people like Robert Byrd, and I was very
Really funny, by
intimate
the way,
with
Kenzo.
the Ku Klux Klan and Congress, actually, hilariously. To give you a bit more insight into who this woman I believe she is dead. And I
think
quote,
she's dead, yeah.
"The most merciful thing that a large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it." End quote.
Well, that just has "Rays of Sunshine" written all over it.
Not a good woman.
Like, can you imagine? First off, like, look, I get it. Like, I'm kind of like, I make jokes and stuff like that about the fact that I hate this planet. Like, most recently on Twitter, because apparently there's a new TikTok trend where everybody's making out with Shrek, and I literally put, "I hate this planet." I don't actually hate this planet, and I don't hate the people on it either. I hate some of the people on it because they're vile, disgusting human beings. But there's that, and then there's going to the next level of, hey, guess what? I figured out a way to do this secret backroom thing that we used to not talk about because it's really heinous. And now we have people standing out in front of it and saying pro-choice matters. Woo! It's like really? How do we go from like extremely evil to like it's the bestest thing in the world? Celebrate that crap. Put it on. Tell all your friends you're doing it. It's like, what are you talking about?
This is why, Ryan. This is why so as those of you who follow the channel for a while know, I'm fairly anti-globalist. I've been talking about commie takeover in the West, and particularly the United States, for the last 100 or so years. Not that I've been speaking that long, but that that's about how long they've been at it with the infiltration. This is how you do it. This is how you take down a society. This is how you harm their ability to procreate for the future, is you convince them that not only is it a good idea, but that it was their idea.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And you make them complicit.
Well, look at the way they name things. Planned Parenthood. Who doesn't want to plan their parenthood? Everybody should join that group. Everybody should get that done.
Of course, they don't
Planned
plan
Parenthood.
anything.
What, you want to not plan your parenthood? It's the way they name it.
Yeah. Well, they name it. The left are very, very, very good at naming things. The globalists are very good at naming things in a way, at framing things in a way so that it seems like they can't possibly be in the wrong, right? I mean, you think about Antifa, for example, right? Anti-fascist movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's on the surface, that sounds like a great thing. Like, who the fuck wants more fascists? Fascists suck.
Black Lives Matter.
So by calling themselves an anti-fascist movement, nobody stands in their way when they engage in fascist activities.
Yeah, because if you're against them, then you're a fascist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's the stigma, right? Is they're like, well, you must love fascism. Be like, oh, well, weird, because I didn't realize that burning down targets for old what's his name was anti-fascist.
Yeah.
What's up, Bernie? Mr. Kenzo, you sent me a video. Oh God, why did you send that? Oh,
He sent it to me too, and I am not bringing it up. Fuck you, Kenzo. I love you, brother, but no.
why you? That's really good editing, though, sir. Well, I've already seen this one, so it's not like
It's that bad?
But
Did you see that shit he did with Buffalo Bill and Dermy's face the other day?
No, I didn't. But he put
Oh.
Dermy's face on the weird Asian guy that was making out with Shrek, so now it looks like Dermy's making out with
Yeah.
Shrek, which he would probably
Yeah.
do, just for
He
the
would.
record.
We weren't even talking about Dermy, and Kenzo's got to bring him up and fucking derail.
Well, you know what? That deserves an applause because, God damn it, that's pretty impressive.
Look, man, I don't have an issue with the laugh once in a while because I think we get into these kinds of topics and they get pretty heavy, and sometimes it is a good idea to break it up a little bit. And remember, guys, laughter is good for you.
Oh, it's great for the soul.
It can help you, kind of reset. It can help you balance out all the darkness, and just the general malaise of it all. So yeah, no, I'm good with laughter. Laughter's a good thing. But yeah, getting back to the whole commie thing, and like when they name something like a thing, like we were talking about, like Antifa, for example. Like if I named a criminal motorcycle club or biker organization, like went around like robbing banks and shooting little old ladies in the street and that kind of thing. If I named that group the Boy Scout, the pudgy little Boy Scouts who help little ladies cross the street, right? People would hear that name and they would make no association between what that name represents and the people who are actually in it and what they're doing. Like, it's a brilliant move.
I mean,
and if you're against it, then you're against senior citizens.
Yeah.
Well, we've almost kind of done
pudgy
that
little Boy Scouts
in a sense, right? Because over the last it's almost been a fucking decade. Over the last 8 years, we've started calling everybody who fundamentally disagrees with us, Nazis, right? And it's like, okay, well, it's not a real thing, guys, because they were real people. They had real ideas, and they were heinous. You can call them Casey and the Sunshine Band, but it doesn't mean they're fucking Casey and the Sunshine Band. And this is where words are losing their real meaning, is because they say, well, okay, well that's not what that means. And it's like, well, no, it is. It's exactly what that means. And it's like, well, you must be this then. And it's like, no, dude, it's just, I understand language. You don't get to change the language. Murking somebody, even a child, is still ending the life of somebody illegally in this. Yes, I know that the UK judges, because God bless them, they really stood up for the children on this one. Um, you can change the words, but the meaning still fucking means the same. It doesn't matter. The meaning will never change because it has been fundamental in human history for as long as we've been fucking alive. You ended the life of that child, but the UK judges, they're like, well, it was all legal. Okay, yeah,
legal ain't the same thing as right or moral.
exactly. And legal used to actually mean the legality of something. We have these laws in place because they're meant to be moral, they're meant to be right, they're meant to be what's the best for all of us. You can say something is legal, but that doesn't mean moral or morally right anymore, the way that they used to. It's immoral to walk up to somebody and to punch them in the face, and the reason it's illegal is because it's immoral to do so. You're harming another person. We've just taken the meaning out of everything, because it's like, well, it was legal, right? It's like, okay, well, you say it's legal, and technically, yes, on paper now it's legal, but you changed what it meant. It doesn't mean that, like it. So this is why changing words has a fucking a real purpose to it. You can call somebody racist till you're blue in the face. It doesn't mean they're actually racist anymore. In the 90s, that was a real thing. You said somebody's a racist, like, whoa, dude, he's racist. Like, that really meant something. Now, not like whatever. That's like a pat on the back, like going, yeah, you're a racist. It's like, oh, no, I have a different opinion than you. That's the problem.
Well, they've diluted the word Nazi.
SA actually meant something.
Yeah,
SA
they
means
diluted the
nothing
word
now.
Nazi to the point where they didn't recognize when one was being applauded by a pack of fucking SEALs in Canadian Parliament a couple months ago.
Yep.
Perfect example.
His name was Yaroslav Hunka, and he was a member of the Waffen SS, which, by the way, and I hear all these people going like, oh, well, he was probably coerced into fighting for the Nazis. I was like, I'm sure there were Ukrainians who were. I'm absolutely sure that was the case. But you don't just get press ganged into the Waffen SS.
Nope.
That was a choice.
Yes.
You get in there because you're a true fucking believer.
Yes. You may actually get involved in a lot of this stuff because, like, oh well, look, a lot of the foot soldiers who were who marched under the Third Reich, they did so because they thought that they were defending their country. When you're a part of the SS, you are the most hardcore of the hardcore. Like, that's like special forces, but with the brainwashing that comes with it. Like, because to believe that all these people are just disgusting, they're subhuman, they're not worth living, and they should be ended on sight. That's the kind of crap.
Yeah, Shadow, I believe I just said that. But yes, you don't just get conscripted into it. You don't get press ganged into it. You don't get volunteered or drafted. You join it willingly. Zillage, yeah, doesn't mean shit anymore. It's an empty word at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a sad thing, because as it turns out, there are people who would fit that description, the classic description of the word racist, that we maybe should be watching out for, but because everybody's cried wolf so long, nobody's going to see these bitches coming.
Nope. I love the fact that, like, and of course, obviously, it started. It kind of started under the whole Michael Brown thing, and then it ramped up dramatically times 1,000 under Trump. When people are talking about, well, Trump's a Nazi, and so it's okay. Well, if he's a Nazi, then he hates Jews, and that's weird because his son-in-law is a Jew, and he's got grandchildren that are half Jew. So I don't understand. It's like you make these leaps of stupidity and it transfers to everything. It's like an infection of just dumbassery, and I mean, ignorance loves company. Misery loves company, and these miserable fucking people just want to make everybody else miserable. They want to lash out at these people who don't agree with them, because and it's just, it all walks hand in hand, and it's doing nobody any fucking good. It's doing nobody any good, dude. I'm almost I'm pretty damn white. But it doesn't mean just because I'm a fucking white guy that I hate Clue because he's black, and vice versa. That's just the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
Well,
so
I think you do.
Look dark.
I think you do. Though.
I do, you some bitch. It's borderline nonsensical now, because when you take away the real meaning of something, this is where it leads us. Well, little boys can be little girls. Okay, well, fine. It's just like, really? Is that what you think? No, but then it justifies the chopping off of certain body parts of little boys. Okay. Well, how the fuck did you get to that leap? It went
right back into population control and eugenics.
Yes, exactly. It does, because then you sterilize people. You're sterilizing people in a mass way in today's world, because fuck it, you hear Bill Gates talk about it all the time. Well, if you're not going to get that poke, then I'm just gonna vaccinate the fucking cows, like, and you're gonna eat it. Like, what?
Let me put it this way. Since we're dipping a little bit into the transing of children here, if the state came and took children in mass and just made eunuchs of them, just started castrating them left and right because they didn't want them to breed, that would be a much harder pill to swallow for the populace. But at this way, it takes longer, sure. But what you do is you start convincing parents and you start convincing kids at early ages that not only is this good for them, but this is something they want. It's something they need to feel right with themselves and with God.
Yep.
And
take that moment in
happens,
time.
they become complicit in their own future's destruction.
You take that moment in time where they're rebellious against the parents and society, that teen time, and you feel it with your ideology. So they can still be rebellious against their parents, but they'll be agreeing with you and your agenda.
Sure. And then soon you have a generation of people who, were convinced that this would solve all of their problems. But lo and behold, we're still depressed. We're still fucked up. We're still emotionally screwy. And now we can't breed, which means that we've murdered our own futures.
Yep.
And the futures of all who were to come after us.
And guess what, folks? No take backsies. It doesn't work that way. Once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it fucking back in. That's just the way it works. There are people on this planet who, due to unfortunate situations, genetically or otherwise, they cannot have children, right? And that probably just crushes them to their very fucking soul. And then you have these people saying, "Oh, well, I mean, my 12-year-old thinks it's a great idea." Like, going, "Let's do it." It's like you have ruined their whole entire fucking life. Their whole life, they will be fucked up, and it is your fault.
And again, that's still not thinking big enough, because the people behind this, the behind the movement, behind all the propaganda, behind the, this is really the best thing for society kind of bullshit. Their goal is long term, right? So they're not just thinking about this kid here. It's like, we screwed him up enough that he sterilized himself. So on the off chance he does ever get around to attempting to make babies, he won't be able to, right? So that's his entire bloodline gone, right? Odds are this isn't going to help him feel better, and he's going to end up on the end of a fucking noose sooner or later anyway, right? So now we don't have to worry about him being a burden on society either. Anybody that his children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren would have had children with, all of those possibilities, all of those worlds, just gone. No more.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about the destruction of entire.
Yeah, I mean, and Zillage is right. I thought I was a Ninja Turtle once. Yeah, dude. I mean, my friends and I in fucking elementary school. I remember it vividly. We would get into that like monkey bar kind of like dome thing. You'd like climb up, but it was like all bars, but it's in a dome. We would go inside there, kind of like like fucking Fight Club. And we would pretend that we're Mortal Kombat characters, or we were dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, and we would like fight with each other. And I'm like, just because I said I was a Tyrannosaurus doesn't mean I was a fucking Tyrannosaurus.
I mean, my youngest thought she was a puppy for the first 4 fucking years of her life. She grew out of it.
Yeah. Children have wild imaginations. That's why they're beautiful, is because they have wild imaginations. They're not bogged down by all of this crap of the real world. And God damn it, they shouldn't be. They're children. Let them be fucking children. Leave them alone. They don't need your fucking social and political bullshit weighing them down. Let them play with Legos. And you know what? If a little boy, God, Squatch says I'm a velociraptor. Well, I'm still a Tyrannosaurus, and I'd eat you. That sounds wrong in the way he probably likes it.
I was just gonna let that sit there.
Yeah, me too.
Shut up, Clue.
I'm just gonna let that slide by.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure that you did all the damage with that comment that you could have possibly done, and that nothing I said would made it funnier or better or worse. So I was just gonna leave it alone.
You know what? Sometimes I hate your
It's
face so
good
much
just
I want
the
to
way
punch it.
is.
Yeah, I know. But this is
You suck so bad.
yeah, that's pretty funny. As the kid said, stop radicalizing me. I am not attempting to radicalize anybody. I am attempting to wake people up.
Well, and see, obviously, Shadu is making a joke, right? Because this is what they say, is that these kind of panels,
No, I know.
not and Clue is not here on his own free will. He's been brainwashed, to be the black face of white supremacy because Sam and I are nothing but racists and blah, blah. Just and this is the kind of like when you talk, it's like what road did you walk down to get to that fucking conclusion? Like, are you serious? Sorry, I stepped
wasn't
on your
aware
toes,
that,
dude. My bad.
I wasn't aware that Clue was on the same level of influence as Larry Elder, but okay.
Well,
blackface.
I'm working on it.
yeah.
I'm working on it. Give me some time.
I mean, that's
I don't think any of us are on Larry Elder's level.
No, I mean that's just where you get this stupid crap that it's like, you said what now? Hi,
What
Lou.
now? Hey, Lou Castley. Oh shit, sorry. Again with the extra clicky. Good to see you. I was kind of hoping that you would be available for the panel today, but I get it. I get it if you're not. So no worries there.
We need some Lou in our life. Where are you?
Well,
We
I'm
all
also
do.
sure that
We all do.
for this particular topic, she'd have some things to say that I think are worth hearing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very little does that woman say that isn't worth hearing.
No, she's
I highly recommend her channel.
Yes.
Go check her
Very
out.
principled person, very, very, very intelligent woman. Like all the things that these idiots say that they like in women that they don't. They just like the women that like Lou is all of those things.
Lou Castley, yes. The one in the SITV group chat, yes. That link. The most recent one.
My question is, why did everybody embrace the term trans kids? I mean, I thought that would be as offensive as the P word.
It was to the people who spoke out against it, but they got shut down, man.
Mm-hmm.
They got shut down hard.
I mean, it's
it
in
was
TV
for a long
shows
time.
now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's more that the commie shit. You take over the entertainment and the education, and eventually you spread them out into other disciplines and other areas like government and newspapers and even trade schools. At a certain point, they'll stop teaching people how to use a lathe and start teaching them that Karl Marx was God. So it is what it is. Hey, Carrie, thank you for posting that in the chat. That is the link to Lou Castley's channel. Excellent channel. Very based woman.
Yeah. Very. A feel good channel.
Yeah.
Positive.
So yeah, it is. I'm going to say something here that might get us into some trouble.
Ooh.
Something that I think, along the lines of like eugenics and the idea of othering groups of people and of painting them with a certain brush so that you can get about and do whatever. And this may in fact get us into a little bit of trouble, so I apologize in advance. I don't believe that Hitler actually hated the Jews.
Go on.
I got to be honest. I agree.
I think that Hitler wanted a perfect Aryan race and only a perfect Aryan race. And the only way to accomplish that, aside from selective breeding and the eugenics of that nature, is to get rid of everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are so many people, so many varieties of people throughout the world that you got to start somewhere, right? So you got to pick a group of people who have historically not gotten along with any other group of people in their long history.
Whoa! Now that part I didn't know.
You pick a group that's easy to get behind, othering, to load up on trains, send to camps. Eventually, you quietly start exterminating some of them until the news of that gets out, and then it's like, well, this was the plan all along, and you were all on board for this, and so we're just going to keep going with this. And then you get into it with other groups. Maybe some gypsies, maybe some gays, maybe some cripples, maybe some Poles. And the more atrocities are committed against other groups of people, the easier the next one is, until you eventually you're only left with your ideal race. I think the Nazis just wanted a place to start that people could get behind. And so they picked a scapegoat, a group of people who were historically scapegoated.
Mhm.
Because it
So
was
they were-
easier to
throughout
convince people
they were
historical
to
tracks.
trust them.
They have a history of not getting along with people before.
178
the whole
countries. They've
thing.
been kicked out of 178 countries
Mhm.
worldwide throughout their history.
Also, I would just like to say real quick, welcome to an actual smart, intelligent, competent woman, Luke Lastly.
Welcome, Lou. Good to see you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's one of those things that no, the Jews historically, and it's even it's in history books, it's in the Bible, it's everywhere that they have been the scapegoat of many other people and it's the reason that Hitler was so influential in Germany is because the Germans lost World War II, and they were forced
World War
to
I.
pay. World War I. They lost World War II too. Also, World War I. They were forced to pay for everything. Everything. Germany was in rabid poverty. These people were hungry. They were looking for somebody to blame, and Hitler came along with the big speeches and the fancy marching and said, "You know what? They did it. It's their fault. Blame them. Now we're going to go over and take over the world." And that's what he did. He was an incredible speaker. Like, quite frankly, the fact that they compare our former president to Hitler in any way, shape, or form is nonsensical because Hitler didn't bash on the people he was trying to win over. He tried to schmooze them. That's the difference, right? Our former president, like, he was like a fucking bull in a china shop. That's why normal Americans liked him, because they're like, "Oh, this dude's fucking funny. He's saying shit that I'm thinking." Of like, that Rosie O'Donnell looks like a frumpy hippopotamus, and that's an insult to fucking So, like, that's why people liked him. Hitler wasn't like that. He was an incredible speaker. There's hours of footage of the fancy gatherings and the fancy backdrops and all this kind of stuff. It was a show. Like, it was all for political show. It was to win people over, and it fucking worked. And
Kinda
Hitler's
like
a
Obama
socialist.
was
Yes.
a great speaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hitler, National Socialism. That, yes, I know that at the time that meant, because people tell me this, well, that was right-wing politics in
No, it
the
wasn't.
country of, it'd be like going, in the country of Germany, yes, at the time it was considered right-wing politics, but not in modern tradition. No, National
It wasn't,
Socialism.
though. It
Well,
wasn't, though. Who called it right wing? Who called it right wing? They're socialist rivals, the communists.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
communists
they
called
did. Yeah.
them right wing.
Well, that's what I'm
That
saying.
was
Like, it
propaganda. That
comes
was
from,
spin. It's never been.
it comes from from that time period, right? In modern American politics, no, National Socialism would be very left, extreme left,
Right.
like of say rounding people up because they wouldn't get a poke and putting them in camps. That's weird.
Yeah.
You ever heard about camps before?
Luke Cassidy, I'm sure you heard about Indy Gregory.
No, can you refresh my memory? I don't know. I haven't been into the political news, and I'm not getting into it the closer elections get, just because I want to be sane. I
don't blame you.
Getting into these things will drive anybody that understands how our emotions are manipulated. It will get anybody insane. And I dialed in because I wanted to go back to the ABCD, a group of people that are trying to change our Spanish language into something that it isn't. They are calling, in general, when we Latinos want to put a group together, we say Latinos. And if it's a group of women, it's Latinas. Now they want to add the X at the end. Doing something like Latinx. We call it Latinx because we can't stand that term. So there is a very small group of people trying to even change language and the Spanish language, and that is offensive to us.
Absolutely. I've even seen a an attempt to get past the Latin X and go with Latine instead of Latina or Latino, because it's gender neutral, except that's not how the language works.
The
It's
whole
not.
language
It's
is
a group.
based on gender.
It's a group of people that have no idea how their language works, trying to change our language, and that, if you get me going on that, that's really, to me, that's the place that I am going to fight if I ever have to fight, because changing the language, our language, is they're the ones that talk about colonialism. You're trying to colonize my language.
Like legit, like it's actual appropriating of somebody's culture, because many languages on this fucking planet, newsflash to the people who are kind of fucking retarded, and I say that because they weren't taught well in school. Language is gendered, and many languages have actual gendered pronouns, right? So
Yep.
it's one of those things that, like, you're taking you're taking their culture, you're taking the heritage of their family, the whole entire existence as human beings, and you're saying, well, we're just going to change that because whatever the reason is. And it's like, yeah, okay, dude, you can eat a giant bag of dicks, like. And I'm not even, it's not even my language. It's her language. Like, leave her alone. Leave her language alone. Leave these people alone. They're not your purse puppies. Stop it.
And the saddest part is that they don't understand that the reason they're able to do that is because they're living the easiest, most privileged life that they are living in the Western world right now. So they have no idea, once the stuff hits the fan, they're probably going to be the first one to go, because they're going to be in a corner crying, calling out their whoever can save them. But the world is a hard world. And the fact that they're trying to change all of these things to change their own world, they have no idea how it truly works when the world becomes a hard world.
Yeah, things are too easy, and that's the problem. Human beings need struggle, and we don't get a lot of struggle anymore.
Well,
And
congratulations, Gen Z, because you're about to learn what struggle means.
and you know what, Gen
Get
Z is
your
one of the ones
ass
that
kicked.
are starting to come around. As you see videos of the teacher, who unfortunately is like a millennial, talking about we need to pronoun, and they start laughing. She's like, you're all gonna be, just stop laughing, just stop laughing. And we're like, ugh. It's like, it's miserable human beings screaming into the void, ding ding ding. But the thing is
Everybody
that,
start clapping, said the name of the movie during the movie.
yeah.
I didn't mean to laugh, brother, but you sounded like Marv or whatever from Office Space when you were doing that impression.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was kind of the point.
He's like, it's my stapler.
It's my stapler.
Hey, Larry.
There's my buddy.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What's going on? Took a break from packing. It's everything's going in hyperdrive right now.
I bet. Congratulations, man, on selling the house, dude. Seriously, that's
Make that
top-notch,
move. Greener
Get just-
pastures.
get the out of there. Get to the promised land. Wow, that sounds a little discriminatory, doesn't it?
Oh, it's all good. Now, I have been getting private messages. Last week I got a couple demanding that I save Lou and get her out of California, and my response to that was, well, that's a good idea. How in the world am I going to do that?
That's a good point.
I said that in the
Oh,
in
you
the
weren't the
private
only
message.
You weren't
Like,
the
what are
only
you
one.
doing there?
Yeah, Lou, I don't know how you do it.
It's hard. It's hard. The only reason that we are here is because we're waiting for one in the family to leave, and we're all going. Because our entire family's here. We have homes, we have land, we are settled here. But it's becoming really hard. And what's going to be really hard is that my sister, the one that has the two boys, 7 and 6, she hasn't seen how the public educational system is going to try to get to take over her children. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. It's just uh, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm thinking that she's either going to have to sacrifice and homeschool, or maybe once my sister and I retire, we can do like a co-op to do like a little school in the prairie and get like the neighborhood kids to join us. I don't know. We got to do something because these kids can't go to public school. I mean, public school here is it's fully indoctrination, manufacturing environment. It's terrible.
Yeah, it is everywhere. But speaking of somebody who lives on the prairie, y'all are welcome out here. Just leave California behind.
Yeah, is somebody who lives in the state just below him. Like where I live, is in the district of she who shall not be named. They hate, the rest of the state hates her. A lot of the what leftist weirdos hate her, but Lauren Boebert, where I live, she's our representative, and it's because these are actual these are hardworking people. These aren't city folks. Like I live in, where I live is considered a city, but it's not. It's a very small city, and everywhere surrounding us is farmland. I mean, you're talking about where I do my daily job. I see horses on the road. People riding horses on the road. You know why? Because these are down home kind of people. That's why they voted her in. Now you can say the rest of her shenanigans, right? Fucking. But the thing is that Denver is so beyond fucked up. It's not even funny. It's as bad as California.
No, it's been colonized by California.
Yes, yes, it has. And that used to be a beautiful city to live in. Downtown was beautiful, and now it's just a garbage heap like San Francisco.
That shit started with the mountain resorts like Breckenridge and Aspen, and it moved into Boulder, and it's been spreading like cancer up and down the I-25 corridor ever since.
Yep.
No, the California leftism it's a cancer. Anytime those people move somewhere else, leaving the BS policies that they voted for, they move to next door, and then they become. The left is a destructive side. They destroy everything. I am convinced.
No, they're nihilists. Nihilists never create anything. They only seek to tear things down because they cannot create. They lack the capacity to do so. So they co-opt someone else's stuff, or they tear it down.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get it. I have to be honest. I don't get how you can destroy and just literally piss and shit literally over where you live. I don't get it. And then you go, okay, guys, it's fine. There's fire. What fire? I don't see the fire. What are you talking about? It's like, no, dude, it's right there. Like it's in front of your face. Like you're wincing at it, like out of your side eye, but I can see that you see it. And it's like you're so brain dead that you're brainwashed that you're like, oh no, I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
So I'm wondering, is this being a conservative or being on the right side, center right, is that more of a masculine type behavior? And I ask because even though I'm not masculine, I do follow, my dad, my husband, I do appreciate the leadership that the male side provides, whereas when you see all of these environments led by matriarchs and all of these women, I think they tend to go left. So I don't know, is that the case? I mean, for me, it's fascinating to
Yes.
see who
Yes.
leans to what side.
Yes, it is. It's essentially a testosterone ruled brain, a masculine brain, right, tends to think in terms of practicality and of logic. The feminine ruled brain, or an estrogen flooded brain, tends to feel more, tends to lead with emotion first. And that's not to say that either one is necessarily bad. There's a reason we complement each other and we're supposed to balance each other out.
Yes.
But if you've only got one of either of them, yes, the masculine tends to the right and the feminine tends to the left. And that's how the left wins, is because they prey upon the emotions of those who feel rather than think. And those who think rather than feel end up on the other side. Usually, yes.
Now, obviously, there are very effeminate men who lean one direction, right? Because they're lacking in the masculinity department. And look, look, this I don't think anybody here has an issue with, obviously, with gay people. There are masculine. I'm sorry, there are masculine men who are gay, and you would have never fucking known, right?
I'm a
That there's a
lumberjack,
reason
I'm
that
okay.
there's a reason they call it Rock Hudson gay, because he played all these characters who are not of that. The thing is, though, is that usually, yes, is that people who are slightly more objected to my, supposedly my way of life is not supported. I don't know who's snoring, Jack.
It's
like,
my
it sounds like
dog.
you.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's my
Oh,
dog.
is it? Ah,
Yes.
that's
I
awesome.
was starting to think that
It sounded like
Ryan
Ryan's
actually
T-Rex.
had a dinosaur. Yeah.
I don't know what I thought that was. Sam, you mentioned you had something going on next door. I'm like, is that what they're doing?
Yes, they're snoring very loudly.
Every
No,
time.
I thought, yeah.
Every
was like,
time I
wait,
get on the
there's that-
microphone and I get either record or do something here, it's like it puts them to sleep. So they're snoring right now. And here in California, it's like it's raining and it's really cold. So it's their time
we're-
to sleep. So
we're getting
sorry,
your-
let me mute it up.
No, you're okay, Lou. I think we're getting your weather. The storm that's in California is headed our direction, because we're getting rain
Yeah.
about 11 o'clock tonight and all day tomorrow.
That's it.
The thing is that, look, I think that I think being a progressive person is not a horrible thing to a certain extent, but you also have to realize that the fundamentals of humanity are based on conservative ideals. Like, human beings are conservative by nature. We don't step outside of the box a lot of times, because it's the way we were our DNA is ingrained. Because, oh, hey, you know what, if I go to a place I've never been before, I could get eaten or mauled by a buffalo, right?
Yes.
Or I don't know where my next meal is coming from, so maybe I shouldn't overindulge, and I should actually leave a little bit for the next couple of days. And that's why we weren't overweight, right? And dude, look, as somebody who's probably recently lost 15 pounds, like due to managing my physical exercise and in my
Really? I
caloric
thought it was the
intake.
meth.
It is the meth. That's because I'm white boy. So white boys like the meth. It's one of those things that it so derailed me, and that's why it's funny. It's conservative there's a reason that conservative fundamentals are in the human condition, right? It's because we have to preserve ourselves. We need to preserve our family. That's Human beings are tribalistic, and the thing is that these people on the extreme progressive left have found their family in each other now, because they're not actually having real families. They're not getting married.
Nope.
They may hate their parents and don't ever talk to them. So their friends and their coworkers who agree with them, they've all found each other through these little, whether it be social media now, expanding it from just like maybe your friend circle to your work circle, but now it's on a global level. And they find this family. but now their family agrees with them wholeheartedly and questions none of it, right?
Mhm.
You know, if you have a sibling who decides that they want to drink themselves to death, you know, every night of the week, you know, a family's going to step in and say, "Hey, bro," or "Yo, girlfriend, what's going on? What were you doing? Like, you're killing yourself." But they don't do that on this side. It's like, well, you know, if you want to do this, you know, you're free to do that. And it's like, well, if you believe this, then you should, you know, it's just like they enable each other because they're broken people. And I'm not saying that all of their ideas are broken. I mean, you know, equality it would have been something that was a very progressive idea back in the day, but equity is not. The equal opportunity of outcome is horseshit. Like if I work my ass off every fucking day and then Joe Schmo walks in because has 72 pronouns in his bio and he does nothing every day, but we get paid the same amount of money, that's crap. It's just crap.
Mhm.
Well,
It's never gonna work.
This is
It never
this is
works.
how the difference between equity and equality. You know, very simply explained. With equality, you got two guys, right? Joe and say Ed. Joe and Ed. They start out in the same place with the same access to the same resources, and what they do with that is up to them. But they have equality. Equity is when you go in there and you see that everybody's got the same stuff or whatever, but you also see that Joe's slightly taller than Ed, so you cut his feet off at the fucking ankles to make sure they're the same height.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, and that goes back to the story I think that Sam and maybe Larry know about my family. When we left Nicaragua, how my aunt had a house. She had a house, a farm. She managed a hotel. She ran a hotel. And when the communists came in, the farm was given to an alcoholic man that never worked for a living, but was sympathetic, was good, very friendly with the communists that were coming in, and they got that house. So they kind of shared the benefits from the ones that have worked really hard with those that came in and said, "Yeah, I'm a communist too." So it's terrible. I mean, the things that people have no idea how communist works and are still thinking that it's going to work somehow. I mean, that's a mental disorder to me, to think that somehow you're going to make it work.
Well, I can. I'll definitely chime in on this. I served with someone, uh, and she's Latina, and she was telling me about the time when she was home, and when the communists showed up at her door and commandeered her home and her family's property in the name of the
Mhm.
people, and even
Yeah,
took the dinner that they had just made and ate it in their faces.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with
That,
you. These
Well,
young people, they
that's
don't
headed
know.
this way.
Yeah, they
uh-huh.
they won't get it without a fight. It's gonna be a real fight, because contrary to what the news media likes to make people believe, there's more people in this country that's not gonna lay down and put up with that mess. Even I'm even seeing it on the street that people who voted for those that are destroying this country right now are now sorry that that they did it. I just watched a video of a Black Lives Matter leader look straight in the camera and say that that he's voting for Donald Trump next year, and that he was the best president we'd had, and that they had screwed up by what they had done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's every 20 years or so we see a resurgence in a Western nation of this kind of thinking that somehow it's going to be different this time. Somehow we're going to make it work, and they start parading around with their Che Guevara t-shirts and their, you know, little Castro slogans, and their fucking start quote Lenin and Marx and Stalin
It's
eventually.
arrogance.
Yeah, and
Arrogance.
it is arrogance, it's hubris, but it's also a lack of education on our part. We are allowing people to get complacent and comfortable in between, in the lulls between these resurgences of this kind of thinking. And like just recently, there's a trend on TikTok right now of people going around saying, "Oh, I read the letter to America from Osama bin Laden, and he was right to do what he did." And I was like, "You weren't even born when that happened."
They weren't even born.
Yeah.
They weren't even born. How do you know?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
And
they have no idea what they're talking about.
so every once in a while, they come back around to this way of thinking that they can make people better.
Well,
And
you know,
that-
and too, and
We're gonna
and,
we are gonna do communism right because we have.
well,
the
you know,
internet.
it's not a new way of thinking. It's one thing I learned when I had to take that class on socialism is when you have these socialist and communist leaders, the arrogance with them is that they know that communism doesn't work, but their arrogance, they think that the version that they come up with is the version that's going to work, and they start arguing amongst themselves, which is why Stalin and Hitler ended up getting into it, because they both thought that it was, you know, only their brand of communism was the brand that was going to work. And so it's one of those, oh, we believe in the same thing, but you know, there's only room at the top for one of us, so the rest of you got to go. And so, you know,
Yeah.
like you said, they really don't know what they're voting for. It's
Well,
like,
and that's where you always get that statement that, oh, they weren't doing it right. That isn't real communism. That isn't what it's supposed to be. It isn't this. And I argue the opposite. I think that every time in history that communism or its equivalent has ended up with mass graves, with bread lines, with famines, with
That's what
dissenters
they
being
wanted.
shot en masse, I think that is communism working exactly as intended.
It is.
Exactly as intended. And they're just lying to the masses who believe this shit, that's in fact the goal. They're telling them it's this utopia. This is how it's going to be. It's going to be great for everybody. But that is the lie. The reality is the purpose of communism. It is a doctrine of death and murder. And it always has
exactly
been.
what it is. And only those at the very top, you know, while they're murdering everybody else, they're taking all the resources for themselves. And, you know, it's like having a mansion built on a mountain of skulls.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Well, everybody
And that's exactly.
everybody. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Clue. Go.
I was gonna say everybody at the bottom that's rooting for this system thinks that it's for them. Like the Skittles thinks it's for them. The feminists think it's for them. They're helping us out, and the workers. That's the first line of communism was quote unquote for the workers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you got people on the lower rungs cheering it on. It's think it's for them, and it's not.
It's not.
They're useful idiots.
It's literally what Hollywood is. So as soon as these fucking losers in Hollywood get successful, the first thing they want to fucking do is pull the ladder up behind them and say, well, I made it, but I don't really want anybody else to make it because they're going to be competition for what I've already got. That's the deal. It's no different. Like we all have to eat and breathe and live and survive. And it's like, well, guess what? Getting nervous. Why is Squatch getting nervous? I didn't forget about our show.
Don't worry. I'll have them home by midnight.
Yeah. I already pulled up the email. I'm ready to jump over it. It will say 5:55, which is literally in 13 minutes. Not gonna bail. I'll bail on my friends. No, I may mistakenly bail on something every once in a great while, but it's not on purpose.
Yeah. Unlike
So yeah, I'm gonna be leaving in a little bit because I have a 6 o'clock date with Maggie, the substitute teacher. We're doing the 30-30 elegance and femininity session. But I wanted to say about Nicaragua and Venezuela. So that's what you see right now in those countries. You see the people that are communist friendly. It's a very small group of people, and they get the best steaks, the best food, the best supermarkets, the best shopping in their own little gated areas. The people are the ones who suffer. That's happening in both countries. I've lived it, I've seen it, and unfortunately, that's why they use the useful voters to vote for that nonsense with their slogans and Build Back Better and the Obama sayings. I don't remember what he said. Those were taken from communist behavior, the slogans were exactly the same. And my family and I, we were seeing that, and that was so scary for us because we ran from two countries that were taken over, and we're trying to, in our own little way, remind people or let them know that communism is just not a good thing. And we share our
It's
stories.
anti-life. It's anti-human.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
And-
anti-religion.
And to what Primal said, Obama was yes we can, and then of course
That's it.
on
Hope
on
and
his-
change, hope and change, change and hope.
His final speech, I remember it to this fucking day because I do remember the first time I ever voted, I voted for Obama. That's not a joke. It was and his final speech before he was done was yes we can, yes we did. No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
I never
So,
got my
no, it's-
my free cell phone and car.
Yeah.
You
it's
made too much
possible that
money,
I'm also-
Sam. You made too
I
much
think it's
money.
possible I'm also too pale.
The bet and not to and look and I'm not one of those people that shoves religion down people's throats, but the greatest trick that the devil ever played was convincing humanity he doesn't exist, right? Like, so it's the same concept applies to politics. These people, they tell you they're we're not doing this. What are you talking about? And it's like, yeah, you are. And they will lie straight face to you because they are people with no moral compass. And you know what? We all believed it. We all thought that there was real, that America was making giant strides and stuff like that. Well, of course, America had already made giant strides, but electing Barack Obama as president was a huge deal, and most Americans supported.
Indeed. I think on that note, we might start wrapping it up. We have a couple of panelists who have some other things they need to be getting to here soon, and I actually have a few things that I'm going to do in between here and Amir's next stream as well. So, why don't we go around the horn and let people know where they can find you? We'll start with Luke Casley.
Hi, I'm Lucy. You can find me at Luke Casley 20. And my channel is basically mainly teaching just basic Spanish with a little bit of topics about femininity, elegance, and how feminism has impacted Western society. So thank you so much for having me on. I might participate in any future sessions. It's just right now I have to get ready. I have to feed my dogs. I have to get dinner ready, and then I have to get on to that other live stream. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Love your channel.
Appreciate you, Lou.
Love your channel too.
The fact that you are legitimately teaching people and you are doing things that, like, as somebody from the demographic that they like to prop up, obviously they probably talk bad about you, but you're doing real stuff. That's awesome. Like, I can't say that enough.
Absolutely.
It's a like I said, it's a feel good channel. I mean, it's not a lot of those on YouTube.
No.
You can go and you're like, these women actually exist today?
Yeah.
Sure, it's not a recording. Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Bye.
I see you, Lou.
You as well. Clue, where can people find you on the interwebs?
I am starting to like Twitter more, so I'll be at I'm on it at the Clue channel and here. And those are my two main social media outlets.
Yeah.
What is up with that?
What's up with what?
I'm just giving Clue shit because he said that he's starting to like Twitter more.
Yeah,
no, Richard.
It's interesting.
I'm not calling it that until it fucking divorces me. It's Twitter.
It is Twitter.
It's Twitter because
never be Twitter.
Because what? How do you X people or do you re-X? They hadn't worked that out yet, so let them get the shit together.
It's called post and repost now.
What in the fuck?
But that's what everybody does. You can do that on
quick.
Facebook.
hold on real quick. It's fucking Caucasian Sasquatch put in the chat, and it says, "Poll: do we trust Legion?" And it says 50% yes, 50% no. What the hell, dude?
How many votes?
It's only 2. Right
Two?
now.
Yeah, two.
So I was the one that said yes. So
All right.
they're sorry. That's pretty funny.
Lawrence Knight, what you got coming up?
Well, guys, I will be on the Vets Talking stream tonight for a while, and then I'll have to hop over to my job, which is managing the watching the channel for the Exile Alliance. So, you guys know what I mean. I have a wrench, damn it. But you guys can catch me there in the chat, and catch us on Vets Talking.
He doesn't want to get whipped by Amira.
Nobody wants to get whipped by a mirror. That
Yeah.
woman is mean.
Oh, tell you what's funny is the other day she put there's a guy that's never been in a naughty corner before, and I had to tell him because he stopped commenting, and then towards the end was asking us how long he was supposed to be in a naughty corner, and I told him, I was like, it's only 2 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
The guy with the whole stream not saying a word.
Well, her naughty corner has a whole new meaning, so no, I don't want to be in it. If it was the other
That's
way
right.
around,
If you go
she's a
into the
married
naughty
woman, so
corner-
no, I wouldn't do it either.
No, if you go into her naughty
Wow.
corner, you're in there with Carrie, and he will chew your shit up.
I know. I've talked to Carrie before. Like,
Oh, he doesn't care if he it doesn't matter if he likes you. If you're in the naughty corner, you're getting your ass chewed.
that's what I'm saying.
Literally.
I know Carrie. Like, I don't want to be in the naughty corner. Carrie's
don't you,
mean sometimes.
He is. Why don't you tell people where they can find you, especially coming up here shortly?
All right. So in the next 10 minutes, you will find me on Caucasian Sasquatch's channel. Hold on. Let me actually, just in case. Shit. So many computers.
We
So
need to
little
get-
time.
We need to get you and Sasquatch back on the channel. Hopefully, StreamYard.
Yes. Hold on, but I will put the link in the description. Just let me. I exited out and I didn't even think about it because I'm a fucking retard, which you guys know. So I'm stupid. But anyway, I'll explain. So later on tonight, I will be on Vets Talking, which will be great. And then, of course, tomorrow I will be on the round table with Adam, the red shirt. He is known from our Star Trek streams. And Jed, the Hollywood Scholar. We are going to be talking about a little bit of the Marvels, a little bit of how Rachel Zegler has managed to kill another franchise. That's right. Rachel Zegler coming in hot. She's taking Brie Larson's place. And, of course, after that, we will have Star Trek Engage, who Samuel, I have designated to fly the ship tomorrow. And then, of course, I feel like there's something after that.
There probably is. I don't
There
know.
probably is. And then Game of Thrones on Monday night. And I do mean that when I think there's something after that. So that is the link to the direct stream I will be on starting in 8 minutes, where Caucasian Sasquatch is going to interview me. We're going to talk a little bit probably about what I do on YouTube and stuff, covering pop culture and how basically Hollywood is ruining everything, including your children, because they're creeps.
Indeed.
Yeah.
As for my part, I am Samuel Infamous. This is my channel, and we do live streams throughout the weekend. Abyssal Musings with my co-host down on the bottom there, Lawrence Knight, and myself on Fridays. On Saturdays, this show, Screaming Into the Void. And on Sundays, Star Trek Engage. And this week will be extra fun because we may have Ryan Reaper, but we're definitely having Dermy Wormy on as Wesley.
That punk ass bitch better be on. I'm gonna fucking murk him.
Yeah, he bitches out this time. I'm gonna have words with him myself. That said, you can also find me along with Lawrence Knight over as a moderator and sort of a producerial capacity for Exile Lioness 2, and I will occasionally pop up on other people's channels as well. There may be some other stuff coming up later. Not sure. Kind of in talks with some people about some potential things down the road, maybe this week, maybe later. So I will announce those as they become realities. Otherwise, and I do apologize for the shortness of this particular stream, but I feel that we the topics were really heavy, and I think we got a lot of great discussion out of them. So, hopefully that suffices. We may be back to form next week. We'll see how it goes. It is holiday season too, so you never know.
Oh, I'm always on form because you're a big gay bitch.
Well, and on that note,
just kidding, dude. Sorry.
It's been great having all of you here, except Ryan. Fuck him. And it's been great having you guys in the chat. Thank you for hanging out and listening. We will see you all next time. Be sure to tune in for Star Trek Engage. We're doing the Galileo 7. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that said, YouTube, remember, it could always be worse. Although after this stream, it's hard to imagine how much fucking worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Good night, everybody.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.